He built a $25 million empire chasing apps and buried his son along the way. 9 years later, a locked phone, a hidden grandson, and a forgotten crypto scam come back to life. Now he's being followed, threatened, and warned to stop digging. But this time, he's not walking away. So there I was, standing at Caden's grave in the Wilmette Cemetery, flowers in hand, the pine-scented air heavy with guilt and a storm brewing overhead. My boots crunched on the gravel, each step a reminder of the son I'd failed. I'm Ethan Cameron, the $25 million IT hotshot who backed viral apps. But right then, I was just a dad drowning in regrets. Caden's phone, with that locked file, was burning a hole in my pocket. A digital puzzle I couldn't crack despite blowing $2,000 on darknet scams. I expected to be alone, whispering apologies to a granite marker. But when I rounded the last pine, my world flipped. A woman was there, kneeling by Caden's grave, her sobs cutting through the quiet like a glitch in my reality. Next to her, a kid, maybe 7, was stacking pebbles, his small hands steady despite the chill. Who were they? And why were they crashing my private hell? I cleared my throat, the sound sharp against the wind's low hum. The woman's head snapped up, her dark curls spilling from a messy bun, her eyes red and puffy like she'd been crying for days. She was young, maybe 30, in a faded denim jacket and scuffed socks, clutching a vinyl record like it was her lifeline. The kid glanced up, his brown eyes bright with curiosity, then went back to his pebbles. Sorry to interrupt, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. But this is my son's grave. Who are you? She scrambled to her feet, brushing dirt off her jeans. I'm Clara Vega, she said, her voice raw. This is Noah. I didn't mean to barge in. She gestured to the kid, who gave me a shy wave, his little hoodie emblazoned with a TikTok logo. My eyes flicked between them, suspicion creeping in. Why are you here? I asked, the flowers in my hand feeling like a dead weight. Clara hesitated, her gaze darting to Caden's headstone. I knew Caden, she said softly. We were friends, back in the day. I come here sometimes to remember. My pulse kicked up a notch. Friends, Caden was a loner, pouring his soul into app designs, not bar crawls. How'd you know him? I pressed, stepping closer. Clara hugged the vinyl tighter, rare Miles Davis pressing. I noticed, like something you'd find at Dusty Groove. We met at a Logan Square music shop, she said. I work at Dusty Groove, selling records. Caden loved jazz, always hunting for old vinyls to unwind from his design gigs. That hit me like a punch. I didn't know Caden liked jazz. What else had I missed? Noah piped up, his voice clear as a bell. Mama, is this guy sad too? He asked, clutching a pebble. Mama, my brain short-circuited. I studied Noah closer, his tousled hair, the way his brow furrowed, just like Caden's when he was deep in a mock-up. A chill ran down my spine. Clara, I said, my voice low, why are you crying at my son's grave? Her eyes welled up again, and she knelt beside Noah, pulling him close. Because Caden was special to someone I loved, she whispered. And because Noah is his son. The world spun. I staggered back, the flowers hitting the dirt. My son had a kid, a grandson I never knew existed. It was like a bad plot twist in one of my startup pitches. Explain, I demanded, my voice cracking. Clara's eyes hardened, but she nodded. My best friend Madison was Caden's girlfriend, she said. She was an Instagram influencer, big in the Chicago scene. They kept it quiet, especially from you. Madison died a year after. Caden, heartbroken and alone. Noah was just a baby. I took him in, raised him as my own. I flinched. Madison, the name drew a blank. I'd been so checked out, jetting to Silicon Valley for VC meetings. I didn't know my son had a life, let alone a kid. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, more to myself. Clara's voice turned sharp. I tried, Ethan. I called your office 3 times after the crash, left voicemails with your assistant. You never called back. Guilt slammed me harder than a Chicago wind. Those months after Caden's death, I drowned in work, ignoring calls, burying my grief in code and contracts. Had I missed her? Noah tugged Clara's sleeve. Can we go home, Mama? Those eyes, Caden's eyes, stared up at me, innocent and gut-wrenching. I couldn't let this go. Back in my loft that night, I paced the hardwood, Lake Michigan's lights taunting me through the windows. Clara's story checked out. I found Madison's old Instagram, at @ChicityMads, filled with pics of her and Caden at Pitchfork, laughing over tacos in Pilsen. One post showed Caden holding a vinyl, captioned "My jazz nerd." My chest ached. I dug deeper, pulling Caden's phone from my desk. That encrypted file was screaming at me now. Was it tied to Madison, to Noah? I posted on X, offering $5,000 for a hacker to crack it. And within hours, a guy named CryptoWolf DM'd me, promising results for half upfront. I wired $2,500. Praying I wasn't getting scammed again. Desperate, I drove to Dusty Groove. The next day, the shop's warm vinyl scent hitting me like a memory I didn't deserve. Clara was behind the counter, sorting records, her eyes wary when she saw me. "I need to know more," I said, leaning in. "About Caden, Madison, everything." She sighed, setting down a Coltrane LP. "Meet me after my shift at New Wave Coffee," she said. "I'll tell you what I can." As I left, I glanced at Noah's TikTok account, linked in Madison's old bio. His latest video, a goofy dance with Clara, had 1K likes, but the comments were weird, cryptic emojis, like someone was watching. Something about Caden's crash didn't add up. And I was about to dive headfirst into a rabbit hole that'd make my $25 million look like pocket change. Imagine me in 2025, perched in a Chicago loft that screams I've cracked the code to success. I'm Ethan Cameron, 48. An IT prodigy turned investor who spun $25 million out of backing viral apps and mobile games. My spot in Fulton Market is pure vibe, exposed brick walls, a turntable spinning vintage jazz from Dusty Groove, and floor-to-ceiling windows catching Lake Michigan's shimmer. I've got a fridge stocked with craft IPA letters and a view of the city's neon pulse that says I'm untouchable. My name's tossed around at tech meetups in River North. My deals hyped on X. My face plastered in Crane's Chicago business for bankrolling the next TikTok knockoff. But here's the kicker. My life's a hollowed-out shell, built on a fortune that can't buy back what I lost 8 years ago. My son Caden, a 24-year-old UI/UX designer who made apps look like art, died in a car crash that ripped my world apart. I was a garbage dad, always chasing seed rounds and VC handshakes, ignoring Caden and my daughter Alice, a creative director who cut me off like a bad Wi-Fi signal. I'm a big shot with no one to flex for, just a pile of cash and a heart full of regrets. Back in my 20s, I was a scrappy coder, banging out at prototypes in a Logan Square basement while my buddies downed beers at Revolution Brewing. That hustle got me here. Bankrolling hits like a short video up that's got Gen Z hooked. I'm the guy founders DM on X, begging for a $500,000 check to scale their startup. But that grind cost me everything that mattered. Caden was my kid, but I barely knew him. He'd spend hours sketching up interfaces, turning clunky code into sleek designs, while I was too busy pitching investors to notice. His old phone's my obsession now, sitting on my desk like a digital ghost. It's got this encrypted file I can't crack, and it's driving me nuts. I've blown $2,000 on sketchy darknet software, hoping to unlock it, only to get a virus that tanked my laptop. Last month, I paid some dude on X $700 for a guaranteed password cracker, but he ghosted me, probably laughing all the way to his crypto wallet. I keep trying, like it's my last shot at being the dad I never was. Ellis, my daughter, is another wound that won't heal. She's 32, killing it as a creative director at a hotshot ad agency in the West Loop. But she hasn't spoken to me in 5 years. Her last words still burn: "You loved your startups more than us, Dad. Good luck with your millions." I see her posts on X sometimes, hyping her latest ad campaign, and it's like a punch to the gut. I've got no family left, just a loft full of tech toys and regrets. Chicago's my playground, and I play it hard. I roll through Fulton Market in a matte gray Porsche, turning heads past taco trucks and graffiti-covered walls. My parties are straight-fire rooftop raves with DJs spinning trap beats, startup brothers pitching me over $200 mezcal shots, and influencers filming TikToks by my neon-lit pool. Last week, I keynoted a blockchain summit in River North, dropping wisdom on NFT gaming to a room of clapping techies. But it's all noise, drowning out the quiet truth. I'm alone. Every year, on Caden's death anniversary, I ditch the glitz and drive to Wilmette, a sleepy suburb north of Chicago with green hills and air that smells like pine and regret. Caden's grave is simple, just a granite marker. Caden Cameron, 1998 to 2017. I picked it myself, no over-the-top statues, because Caden was real, not some startup I could hype. I stand there, clutching flowers, trying to feel him, but all I get is a knot in my chest and memories of missed chances. I remember him at 16, showing me a mock-up for a music app. His eyes lit up like he'd cracked the code to happiness. I brushed him off, late for a VC call. That moment haunts me, replaying like a bad TikTok loop. I've got his phone in my glove box, like always, a dumb hope it'll spill his secrets. That encrypted file, it's got to be something, a design, a message, maybe a piece of who he was. I can't let it go. This year, the drive to Wilmette felt like a death march. Chicago's neon skyline mocked me as I cruised past the art institutes. Lions, the city's pulse, a reminder of everything I've lost. I stopped at a Logan Square dive, grabbing a Chicago-style hot dog piled with neon green relish, trying to shake the dread. The joint was buzzing, with hipsters arguing over vinyls and bartenders slinging old-style beers. I sat there, scrolling X, seeing memes about some crypto bro who lost his fortune in a scam. It hit too close to home. Caden's phone was burning a hole in my pocket. I'd found that file 2 years ago, locked with a password I couldn't guess. Was it a project he never finished, or something darker? I'd posted on X last month, offering $1,000 for anyone who could crack it, and got a DM from a guy claiming he was a dark pool hacker. Total scam. My laptop's still recovering, but I keep chasing it, like it's the key to fixing my mistakes. As I pulled into the Wilmette Cemetery, the quiet hit me like a brick. The pines loomed, their shadows stretching across the graves, like fingers pointing at my guilt. I grabbed the flowers, a mix of daisies and lilies, Caden's favorite scent, stepped out, my boots crunching on gravel. The air was heavy, like a storm was brewing, and my chest tightened with every step toward his grave. I wasn't just here to mourn, I was here to beg for forgiveness, to make sense of a son I never knew. That phone, that file, it was my last link to him, and I'd do anything to unlock it, even if it meant looking like a fool. But when I reached Caden's grave, my world flipped upside down. Someone was there. Someone who'd dragged me into a fight bigger than my millions, the secret that'd make me question everything I thought I knew about my son. I was in deep now, my $25 million empire feeling like pocket change against the secret I'd uncovered at Caden's grave. I'm Ethan Cameron, the guy who backed viral apps. But finding out my son had a kid, Noah, flipped my world. Clara, vinyl-slinging queen from Dusty Groove, dropped the bomb that Noah was Caden's son with Madison, an Instagram influencer who died a year after him. That encrypted file on Caden's phone, it was gnawing at me, a digital ghost I couldn't shake. I'd already blown $2,500 on a sketchy ex-hacker, CryptoWolf, who sent me nothing but a crashed laptop and a smug emoji. Clara's words at New Wave Coffee kept replaying. Caden's crash wasn't an accident. My gut screamed she was right, and I was ready to burn every dollar I had to prove it. I called in Tom Hayes, a private detective who used to sniff out cyber scams for big tech firms. We met at a dive bar in Logan Square, the kind with sticky floors and neon signs buzzing over cheap whiskey. Tom, all gruff beard and tired eyes, slid a folder across the table. Your boy Caden and his buddy Owen Marsh were tangled in a crypto scam, he said, his voice low. They designed Dewey for a startup run by Dexter Rain, a slick CEO peddling fake NFTs to launder cash for some Chicago heavyweights. My blood ran cold. Caden, my kid who made apps pop, was in bed with crooks. Tom's folder had screenshots, Caden's mock-ups for a shady NFT platform, Owen's blockchain code, and a crash report hinting at tampered brakes. They were running from someone that night, Tom said. Someone wanted them quiet. I wasn't letting this slide. I hit the streets, starting at a hipster bar in Logan Square where Caden used to hang. The barman, a guy with a man bun and a suspicious squint, knew something. I slid him $3,000 in cash, wrapped in a napkin, whispering, Tell me about Dexter Rain. He pocketed it, muttering about Dexter's crew meeting at a West Side warehouse, dealing in crypto wallets nobody could trace. I was out of my depth, but my obsession was louder than reason. Back in my Fulton Market loft, I scoured X for leads, stumbling on a post about Dexter's startup. Rain a coin. It screamed scam fake NFT drops, promises of 10x returns. I bought a dodgy NFT for $8,000 off a Craigslist ad, thinking it'd get me into Dexter's inner circle. Spoiler, it was a pixelated cat that tanked my crypto wallet. I needed eyes on Dexter's operation. I rented a drone for $1,500, figuring I'd spy on his West Side warehouse. Picture me, a 48-year-old tech bro, fumbling with a drone app in my Porsche, parked in a sketchy alley. The thing crashed into a dumpster 5 minutes in, sparking like a bad startup pitch. I cursed, but Caden's face and Noah's smile kept me going. I dug into Caden's old Instagram, finding DMs with Owen about Rainacoin's big drop. One message chilled me. If they find out, we're done. Who were they? I tried cracking that phone file again, downloading some bootleg software that bricked my second laptop. My loft was starting to look like a tech graveyard. Then things got real. Clara called, her voice shaky. Noah got a weird DM on TikTok, she said. Some account with no name, just skull emojis. Saying stop digging. My heart pounded. No, that kid with Caden's eyes was in danger because of me. I drove to Clara's cramped Logan Square apartment, vinyls stacked everywhere. Noah filming a TikTok dance like nothing was wrong. You're putting him at risk, Ethan, Clara snapped, her hands trembling as she clutched a Coltrane record. This isn't a game. She was right, but I couldn't stop. Hayden deserved justice, and Noah deserved a future. Tom sent me a lead. Dexter was meeting a shady investor, Coleman, at a River North club. I needed in, so I bought a fake ID for $2,000 from a sketchy ex-contact, complete with a QR code that probably led to malware. Dressed in a ridiculous oversized hoodie to blend in, I looked like a washed-up SoundCloud rapper, but I was all in. As I slipped into the club, the bass thumping like my pulse, I spotted Dexter. All slick hair and shark eyes, shaking hands with Coleman. My fake ID got me past the bouncer, but my nerves were screaming. Caden's file, the crash, Noah's safety, it was all connected, and I was one wrong move from blowing it. Then my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Back off, or the kid pays. The club's neon lights spun, and I knew I'd kicked a hornet's nest. Whatever Caden and Owen got into, it was bigger than my millions. And I was about to find out how deep this crypto rabbit hole went. I was into deep. My $25 million empire a distant hum against the chaos I'd stirred up. I'm Ethan Cameron, the IT hotshot who backed viral apps. But now I was a man possessed, chasing the truth about my son Caden's death. Finding out Noah, my grandson, was Caden's kid with Instagram star Madison flipped my life upside down. Clara, the Dusty Groove vinyl queen raising Noah, warned me I was risking his safety. That encrypted file on Caden's phone, locked tighter than a blockade vault, was my obsession. And I'd already burned $2,500 on a shady ex-hacker and $8,000 on a useless NFT to get close to Dexter Rain, the crypto CEO tied to Caden's crash. My detective Tom Hayes had proof Caden and his buddy Owen were designing me for Dexter's fake NFT scam, a front for a Chicago syndicate. The crash that killed them, no accident, brakes tampered. I had to keep them quiet. Now, Noah was getting creepy TikTok DMs with skull emojis, and I just dodged a tail at a River North club, fake ID and all, looking like a washed-up TikTok star in an oversized hoodie. This wasn't about my millions anymore. It was about Caden, Noah, and a fight I couldn't quit. I went all in, filing a lawsuit against the city of Chicago to get access to old crash reports, hoping to nail Dexter and his shady investor buddy, Coleman. The courthouse in the Loop was a maze of suits and stress, my lawyer sweating as we demanded police archives from 2017. The judge wasn't impressed, tossing our request like a bad pitch deck, saying the case was too cold. I wasn't backing down. I hit up a West Side warehouse where Dexter's crew ran their crypto hustle, slipping $5,000 to a security guard with a neck tattoo to let me snoop. Picture me, a 48-year-old tech bro, sneaking through warehouse in cargo pants, dodging crates of server racks, looking for anything: a hard drive, a USB, a post-it note with a password. All I got was a busted flashlight and a near heart attack when a guard dog barked. My phone buzzed as I bolted. Another anonymous text, "Leave it," or "Noah's next." My blood froze. But I couldn't stop. I needed noise, so I hired a TikTok influencer, some 20-year-old with 1 million followers, for $7,000 to post a video calling out Raina Coin scam. The kid's clip, a dramatic reenactment of a car chase with glitchy NFT visuals, went viral, racking up to 1 million views in a day. X blew up, memming my hoodie look from the club as Crypto Grandpa. It was humiliating, but it put heat on Dexter. Clara wasn't thrilled, cornering me in her Logan Square apartment, vinyls stacked like a fortress around Noah, who was filming a dance video, oblivious to the danger. "You're not a hero, Ethan," she snapped, clutching a Nina Simone record. "You're dragging Noah into your mess." Her words cut, but Noah's grin, so like Caden's when he showed me his first app mock-up, kept me going. I owed my son justice, and Noah a future free of threats. Back in my Fulton Market loft, I tried cracking Caden's phone again, downloading some janky open-source software that promised to brute force passwords. It bricked my third laptop, leaving me cursing at Lake Michigan's lights. Tom dug deeper, finding a link between Coleman and a city official who'd buried the crash investigation. The trail led to a burner phone tied to Dexter's office. But we needed that file to seal the deal. I went rogue, posting on X myself, offering $10,000 for anyone who could crack the file, hashtagging #justice for CYDN. The post backfired, trending for all the wrong reasons. Trolls called me a boomer hacker, and my inbox filled with scam DMs. Still, I kept pushing, setting up a meeting with a whistleblower, a former Rainacoin coder, at a Pilsen taco joint. He ghosted, leaving me with a plate of al pastor and another dead end. The syndicate hit back hard. One night, as I drove to my Wilmette Lake house, a quiet spot I'd bought, dreaming of Caden's love for the water, headlights tailed me through the dark. My heart raced, flashbacks of Caden's crash flooding in. I floored my Porsche, weaving through Evanston's sleepy streets, losing the tail but not the fear. Clara moved Noah to a safe house, a cabin near Lake Michigan, guarded by a buddy of Tom's, a former bouncer with fists like hams. "This is my fight," I told Clara, my voice firm as we stood on the cabin's porch, waves crashing in the distance. "You and Noah are family now. I won't lose you too." She nodded, her eyes softening. But the tension hung thick. The 9th anniversary of Caden's death loomed, and I was nowhere close to answers. The lawsuit stalled, the file stayed locked. Dexter and Coleman walked free, and those skull emoji DMs kept coming. I stood at Caden's grave again, Noah's TikTok laughter echoing in my mind, a reminder of what I was fighting for. I wasn't giving up. I'd sue the city again, bribe every guard, hire every influencer, even if it drained my $25 million. That file was Caden's legacy, a truth I'd chase forever. As I drove back to Chicago, the skyline blazing, I got a new DM, a single word: run. The fight wasn't over, it was just beginning. And I'd burn it all down to get to the truth. For Caden, for Noah, for the family I was rebuilding from ashes.